What's up, everybody? This is Dr. J coming to you live from Northern Virginia with the My Metro Medicine podcast. In this podcast, we explore the art and science of Chinese medicine, movement, and healing. As an acupuncturist, a Tai Chi and Qigong instructor, I will be your guide through the timeless wisdom of Chinese healing traditions. In this episode, we're going to dive into one of the most foundational concepts in Chinese medicine, the 5 elements. The elements of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Sounds like a Hollywood film. Might be. These elements are more than theory. They're a lens for understanding our bodies, our emotions, and the way we interact with the world. Whether you're a student, practitioner, or you're just curious about holistic health, you'll walk away with insights you can use in your life and your practice. Let's get started. We're going to start off with an overview of the 5 elements. You heard me mention just a moment ago that we've got wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Maybe you are unfamiliar entirely with these elements. Maybe you're not. Maybe you know a whole bunch about them, as I do. In terms of the elements, there's always something to learn. While we think we know a lot, we still have a lot to learn. The wood element, if we start there, we're looking at a grouping of things. Not only are we thinking about the nature of a season, which is really the main idea, we're looking at a grouping of organ systems. As an acupuncturist, this is very important for me when I'm analyzing something that my patient informs me of. But let's take a step back from there. The wood element aligns with the spring season. So what do we notice when we are in the spring season? Well, we have to think, number one, since we're in nature, this is the only teacher that is existing for these practitioners thousands of years ago. The only thing, they didn't have books available at, Barnes and Noble that they could go off and purchase and sit there and sip Starbucks coffee while they're relaxing. No, they had to sit outside, which is probably better than Barnes and Noble and Starbucks and relaxing in the store. You could be out in nature enjoying yourself. So as they sat there and they observed these seasons, including the spring season, they realized that, especially in spring, there was a season of growth. Things coming up out of the ground, exiting winter, entering a warmer time of the year. Things reaching up towards the sky, saying, "Hello, sun, give me a little warmth and help me to grow this year." So this idea of things reaching up and outward is connected in our own lives to planning, to goal setting, to achievement, to sending that energy, powerful energy, up and out. Where does it go from there? It reaches into the summer season. This is our next element of the fire. In this element, we're thinking of more warmth. Think about the summer. If you've traveled somewhere in the summer, right? Go to the beach, hang out with your family, your friends. What are you doing? You're having a good time. You're enjoying yourself. You're connecting with one another. Things are moving well. You get to dance. You get to hang out on the beach. Maybe have a few drinks as well. You get to enjoy life. That's what this season is really about. Holding things together, holding people together through the emotion, through the warmth that comes with that. From here, we go into another season, which is traveling into late summer. While we don't necessarily view that as a 5th season in our culture, it is really the binding season, the binding element for all of them. This is the time where we get to reflect on all of the things that we have done, we've grown, we've gathered this year, and we can put those to use. What does that mean for us in our lives? This is the way we nourish ourselves. Do we take time to connect with the things that we have done, with the things that we have put our effort into? The fruit hanging down from the tree, can we pluck it and enjoy it because it has grown fully? If we don't, where does it go? It moves into a stage of beginning to rotten. That is where we start to travel towards the next element in season, the metal element, and the autumn season, where we are right now. This is a period of reflection. We look inward. Things are starting to weigh down on us. Maybe you feel that in your own life right now. Things are weighing down. Things are starting to even possibly separate. That could mean separation of people. That could mean separation of things that once nourished us, but we're holding on to as little as we can, and anything that doesn't serve us will leave. Not leave in a bad way, but maybe leave naturally. That could be the loss of life. From here, as things continue to descend and fall away and be let go, we move into the water. The water is connected to the winter season. Things descend. That life that was once growing upward and outward is now descending downward and inward. As that happens, we move into a state of storage. Luckily, we have things like refrigerators, where we don't have to store our food underground in a cellar, although I do remember when my ancestors would do that. I would travel down to the cellar to get food that had been sitting down there for you don't want to know how long. And that food was still edible. It was still good. But in today's day and age, we don't think of that because everything comes with an expiration date and scares people to death that you have to consume it now and buy more. But when we store things properly and we do it well, we preserve that for later. So the elements themselves all connect in a variety of different ways, and I could go through probably a 2-week podcast on these various corresponding features of each of the 5 elements. We also need to think about how they work together. They work together through what we consider as cycles. They generate one another. We naturally move from winter to spring, and so on and so forth. There are also controlling mechanisms to ensure that things stay in check. If we think about literally the elements of, let's say, water and fire, not the winter and summer correspondence, but the water and fire. If the fire gets out of control, what can we use to control it? We can use a little water. We can douse the fire. So there are ways that we can implement our understanding of the elements and, again, as an acupuncturist, tie this together with the human body and understand what's happening in these organ systems, and then I can select points and insert tiny little needles into your body to help you to have better adjustment, to better regulate these cycles. What does that do for you? It can improve your health. It can help you to regulate your emotions and better align you with the season that you are in at that time. That brings us to part 2, which is where we look at bridging the theory and the practice. We put the two together, and that's what we do as an acupuncturist. That's what I do as an acupuncturist. Maybe you're not, but maybe you can apply these in different ways. If we understand not just what the element is in nature, but also how the element might show out of balance. Maybe we have, let's take the springtime. This is an easy example. When something is coming up out of the ground real fast with a lot of power, that may be a good thing because, your garden grows faster. You're able to see things sooner than others. But what if it's something that not just grows up fast, but also out fast and starts to cover the ground? Weeds, for example. Right? Nobody likes weeds in the garden. You have to spend so much time out there. So when we have things that grow like that and spread very quickly, bamboo is an example of that. It grows and then it just sort of spreads however it wants. It's beautiful, but it invades. It's a form of grass. It's like a weed essentially, but it's not a weed. It's beautiful. So in this sense, things are driving up and out, and there's a lot of power. They grow quickly. When that happens, in the body. If we have something moving upward and outward very quickly, you can tell my voice is getting a little louder. My emotion may be getting a little bit tighter and tenser. My body as well. I may be getting a little irritable, a little agitated. Where does that go? Well, think about what happens in your body when you get a little angry. Do you show it in your face? Maybe you do. Does it come out through your voice? Maybe. Does it show internally in your body? Maybe you're clenching your fist right now thinking about you getting angry. Maybe your abdomen doesn't feel so good because it's going to affect your digestion. If you get angry while you eat, it affects us. That would be a state of imbalance within one element that's now affecting the connected organ systems, the emotions, that resembles something that happens in nature. This is where the seasons are our teachers. What happens in the season in a state of balance and imbalance tells us what is happening in our bodies, and vice versa. As an acupuncturist, as just, anyone, right? Any person can utilize this method of thinking, and this is exactly what was done with the practitioners of the past, the doctors of Oriental medicine of the past. And we still utilize this to this day. People will implement this theory as the only way to address disharmony in their patient's health. The last part of this episode, we talk a little bit about some applications. Now, I gave you some ideas on applying these things. Maybe you're aware of, as an acupuncturist, using needles. When we select points, there has to be some kind of rhyme and rhythm to them, yes? If there isn't, then we're just, playing darts with your body. That is absolutely not what we are doing. There is a design to what we do. The design that we use depends on the lens that we look through. Maybe we look through a lens of 5 elements. Maybe we don't. Maybe we look through a lens of something called the 8 principles, viewing things through yin and yang, for example, and some other elements as well. Not 5 elements, but other principles, I should say. These lenses give us a viewpoint of what's happening within the body in short term as well as long term. So real world applications. When we think about the implementation of 5 elements, we're also viewing you, the patient, you, the individual just walking down the street, you in the office across from me. I can understand your constitution. What does that mean? That means I understand a little bit more about how you are, why you are, where you are, what you are, simply by observing things like mannerisms, the sound of your voice, the way that you interact with people, the way that you talk, listen, walk, move your body. All of these directly connect to the 5 elements. Now, that may scare you a little because maybe the next time you interact with me, you're thinking, is he analyzing me right now? I might be. I might not be. Right? I don't do that all the time. It's a switch. I turn it on, turn it off. Right? I can be just a natural guy sitting in Barnes and Noble, drinking coffee, reading about the 5 elements while I'm staring at people. No, that sounds creepy. So as we understand the 5 elements, we also understand the nature of the individual, the constitution, and the design of what the 5 elements allows for you. This is a window into me being able to relate to you, because now I can, maybe the art of conversation, maybe I can use knowledge of the 5 elements to understand how I can interact with you. What is it that's coming out of you through your voice that allows me to understand where you might be going and where you might need to go. Obviously, if you're yelling at me with anger, I don't want to be yelling back at you with anger. That will solve no problems. But I could use the elements in my brain to help me understand what I should say or not say next. So it's a very valuable theory, not just in the treatment room, but also in the real world. So that is your overview of the 5 elements. Hopefully a little gateway into understanding them a bit more. And I thank you for joining me here today as we explore the wisdom of these 5 elements. Maybe you gained a fresh perspective on how these ancient principles work in your own personal wellness and maybe in your professional practice if you're an acupuncturist or healthcare practitioner like me. Remember, whether you're a student, a practitioner, or a lifelong learner, integrating these patterns can help you see the bigger picture of health and even balance in your life. Coming up with My Metro Medicine, you can continue to learn more about these 5 elements directly from me, virtually. You can sit in the comfort of your own home. There's a 2-part workshop. One date is in November, on November 22nd. Another date, the second date, will be on December 13th. If you are interested in learning more, go to www.mymetromedicine.com and look for the workshops, and you will find all the details. You'll find information about each part, what you can expect, and if you are a licensed acupuncturist, you can gain PDAs from this. If you want to know how many, go to the website, look it up, and reach out. If you do have any questions, send me an email. I'd be more than happy to chat with you. And if I don't see you there, then I'm going to wonder why. No, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But thank you for listening. I will see you next time. This is the My Metro Medicine podcast. I am Dr. J, and I'll see you for the next episode. See you, everyone.
1, 2.